Danny Vegas time, Danny Vegas world. We are live from Las Vegas, Nevada, and today, oh my, what's going on in the world today? Let me tell you what's happening. We have a very special show today. Now, I know usually we don't really have a lot of guests on our show, Jodie. We just
rarely. It's
we
a rare
rarely
event.
thing. Well, as far as calling guests and et cetera, let's go back in time, Jodie. First of all, Jodie Rocco, #OneLuckyGal. First week of the month. You know what that means? The #Firestarter.
That's me.
Is
That's
in
Jodie
the room.
Rock. All right.
And let's go back in time.
Okay, let's go back in time.
Let's go back in time. 1 month ago.
November.
1 month ago, we had a segment. And we were just asking a couple questions about...
Actually, you called me and asked me if I knew anything about...
Yeah, I said, Jodie, do you know anything about this Standing Rock thing? And Jodie went and got a little, I would say just a little research, maybe 1 or 2 pages of, I kind of found this out, and I kind of found this out. And we kind of asked the question, is this protest, what's going on up there with the violence and everything that's going on up there and what we're seeing on social media, is there a man behind the curtain on this? Is it?
Or what's the real story? What's going on? You know, what are the facts? What are everything?
We were just kind of asking, and Jodie kind of came up with, well, we got this and this and this, and okay. So, okay, what's the next segment? Okay, well, the viral response to that segment, which I didn't even think we even got into it that much.
Yeah, it was only 6 minutes or so. It wasn't like the whole show. Exactly.
The venom that came at us over the last 30 days.
Well, it's not just the venom. It's the awful factless.
Well, we'll get into that. Let me finish my talking.
Name calling is not a defense.
Name calling. I mean, I have been called everything. I mean, as a guy who has promoted diversity in this country for his whole life, to sit there and being called the things that I'm doing, you know, Jodie gets called that every day. I was like,
thanks, Danny.
They don't love me. They don't love me
I'm
up in North
come
Dakota.
On. I've been in...
So, anyway, I'm just kidding, Jodie.
I know.
So we decided, of course, now y'all just opened up the rabbit hole even farther.
Right.
So 2 weeks later, we had #SharpTank, Nicole Taylor Sharp on the show with us, and Jodie got a little deeper into the research.
Yes, I did.
Got a little deeper into research, and we kind of learned more things about pipelines going next to other pipelines and easements, and that there were
all the other
there were a lot of pipelines going underneath the Missouri River,
9.
and there were no burial grounds, and there was like, I'm like, wow, what's going on here? So after part 2, holy cow! I think our pictures are up in the post office at Cannonball. Okay,
yeah, I think they are.
Just this morning, I was called a Nazi. I can't even spell Nazi.
I don't even think people understand what Nazi really means.
I don't even
but
know.
Anyway.
It's just a term that people like to throw around, meaning
you're
bad. Okay, so now you're gonna get it. Okay, because Jodie. Okay, when I said, "Do you know anything about Standing Rock?" Holy cow, we got a dictionary now. So we have special guests. I'm going to hand it over to Jodie. We're going to get deep into, like, okay, what is the real facts of what's going on up there at Standing Rock? We have special guests. Jodie, go.
Thank you, Big D.
I'm exhausted.
I know you're exhausted. Try being me for the past 3 weeks. Anyway, so welcome, everybody. I would like to welcome and introduce our first guest. His name is Michael Meyer. Michael, are you there?
You betcha.
Okay. And Michael, tell us, where do you live?
I live approximately 30 miles to the southwest of the main camp of this protest.
Of the protest, okay. And how long
I
have
live
you...
right on the Cannonball River also, which is where that camp is on the Cannonball River.
Okay, and how long have you lived there?
Since I retired from the Air Force in 1997.
Okay, so you've been there...
Before that, I was raised here. So other than my 20-year stint in the Air Force, I grew up around here.
So you know that area. You're not a new guy there that moved in, 6 months ago. So you're cognizant of the area.
Yep.
Okay, so why did you get involved with this whole protester thing? Explain what provoked you.
Well, okay, supposedly this thing started back in April. I hadn't even heard about it. I didn't even know anything about it. I saw, traveling up Highway 6 to go to town to get groceries, I saw that there was something going on, the stakes being put in, a bunch of piles of wood, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anything about it. Then come around August, things started getting hot, and weird things were happening. People blocking highways and stuff like that, and so I'm seeing this. I'm like, what's going on? So I start doing some research to find out what's going on. Find out, okay, it's a pipeline. And then during the course of that, I find out that my cousin owns the land where this pipeline is going to go through, and okay, I'm finding out more and more and more and more and stuff.
So actually, he was actually, Michael, he was on
the edge to say, I got to get into this and get finding more, was when that Amy Goodman from Democracy Now! Put out that video, and it went viral about how security guards and dogs were attacking these people. And I'm like, that is an absolute lie. First of all, they're not even on tribal land, and then they're jumping a fence and going in after these people, and saying that these their vicious dogs are attacking them, and all I see is the dogs in them are in a defensive position, and these people are actually attacking them.
Okay, so hold on, Michael. Hang on one second. Okay, so I was looking at the the KFYR TV, where the camera people went in, and they were accosted by masked protesters who were violent, threatening. They threatened to kill him. The language was awful. I mean, this is a video that you can find on their site. So what you did is you took your own camera and you went and you videotaped for 1 hour exactly where all the boundaries were and what was going on. Just get a short snippet. Just tell us basically what was that video about. And then let's not forget, your cousin was on ABC News.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know he was on ABC News.
Yeah, and that video is that video is pretty predominant if you go and you look on. It's pretty big online about him and his truck. Yeah, that was pretty good. But anyway, tell us about your video quickly.
Okay, my video basically. Okay, again, the first lie was that it was on Indian territory, and what I did is I went south of the town of Cannonball on 1806, south of the bean camp, and started filming from there northward. I stopped at the Cannonball River, pointed out the sign that says, "You are now leaving the Standing Rock Indian Reservation," and the other sign that said, "This is the Cannonball River." Okay, at the same place. And I continued on up, and then I kept driving. I viewed the camp that was already starting there, and then I got up to where the big deal with the dogs attacking where that area was, and where the pipeline was actually going to cross. And you could tell by my video because I talked through it, and
exactly.
because I didn't stop filming, that was unedited, and it showed my entire trip.
Okay,
and
so
it was approximately 18 minutes round trip.
Okay, so it's on your YouTube channel, which is under Michael Meyer, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
correct.
good. We'll give some information too at the end of the show. So, in your opinion, and I want to know this because I know you live right there, what would you find to be the greatest misconception that is garnering undeserved support? What do you say?
Oh boy, you asked me that. It's kind of a toss-up. The first one is that it's not on tribal land. That's my first. If I have to answer quick, that's my first answer.
Okay. And what about the water?
What was that? I'm sorry.
What about the fight about this clean water? We have a right to clean water. What about that? Because here's
okay.
Well, I just want to.
The silly part about that belief, or they're saying that, is that in 1982 a northern borders pipeline was put in the same exact place, and there was no protest back in 1982. There was no problem back in 1982. So why are they fighting about something? There's already, now we're talking a 34-year-old pipeline that probably has more chances of leaking than a brand new oil pipeline.
Double-walled.
And they're worried about
double-walled pipeline. Okay, so here's the reason why I ask about the water is because in their 58-page decision from the Judge Boasberg and the United States District Court, he said they didn't even talk about that the water had nothing to do with the complaint. Absolutely nothing. In fact, they're getting a new watershed, and I think we talked about this one. They're getting a new line of water that's coming in at the end of the year.
Oh, Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. The water. The only city, which to you is probably a town, but for us it's a city. Fort Yates, which is the county seat of Sioux
Right.
County, which is also the Standing Rock Indian Reservation, is the only city in this county, that gets their water directly from the Missouri River. Now, back in 2002, there was a big drought. The water went down. They had problems with that water system. So since 2002, they've been trying to get their water inlet for the city to be moved. It is almost, I'm pretty sure it's pretty much almost done.
Yes, it'll be done by the end of the year.
It's in South Dakota.
Mobridge, exactly.
Which is going to be under deeper water.
Right. Okay.
And it's on its way up here, so they're basically water isn't going to be coming from the Missouri directly anyway.
And that's what the judge said, basically. So we're up against a hard break.
No, we're gonna.
Are we
gonna
go?
keep running,
Okay.
baby. We're
gonna
keep
running.
So
Okay.
the question is, because I haven't done the research like Jodie's, and Michael, we know you're not an investigative reporter, okay? So if you don't know the answer, we understand, okay? But it sounds like to me, when I get all the press or all the people saying, "Oh, you know what? The oil thing leaks into the Standing Rock Indian Reservation, probably within 365 days, will not be getting water from the Missouri River anyway." Is that what I'm hearing?
They'll be getting it from Missouri, but at a place that's so far downstream, it's like 40. I think river miles is almost close to 70. But
70 miles away, exactly.
It's probably close to 45 miles. From further south, under much deeper water. Well, we all know oil and water don't mix. Oil is on top. How is it going to get down to 300 some feet or whatever it is, down to that inlet? Plus, that inlet has got now one of the probably top of the line technologically filters at the bottom to stop stuff like that from getting in anyway.
Not just the filters, though, but they also have a system in place that would have to go through 2 feet of cement wall, and it would have to go through another. I mean, it would really almost take an act of God or the earth opening up in order for this stuff to leak, to actually leak.
And that's going to be their new water system coming from the Missouri.
Which they got
so
federal
the only
grants.
people that would need the water from the Missouri are people that walk down to the Missouri and decide to get a drink.
Right.
That's it.
Okay. Well, that's so. Let's get I think what we have learned, because like I said, Michael, I'm sure you have too. I am getting inundated with literally. I think the biggest thing that I'm hit with is this Fort Laramie Treaty that seems like there's land outside the reservation, but according to everybody in God, it belongs to the Sioux Nation. But in my mind, how can we build a pipeline for 2 years across this treated land without it being stopped? So does anybody know anything about this Fort Laramie Treaty?
Well, let me just give you a background of what I was researching, and then Michael will give you his take on it as well. There was a treaty from 1851.
Right.
The treaty was made from the Great Sioux Nation, not Standing Rock. Standing Rock was a part of the Great Sioux Nation at that time.
Right.
The Sioux Nation did not want this treaty. They burned it. They literally burned it and started a 15-year war against the United States. 15 years of killing settlers that were coming across.
Okay, this is in the 1800s.
This is in the 1800s. Okay. And for 15 years, this is what they did. So then in 1867, they all sat back down and they created another Fort Laramie Treaty that was signed, ratified, and proclaimed in 1868. Do you have anything to add to that, Michael?
Okay, well, the difference between the 1851, now 1851, the northern, let's just deal with just the northern border as it applies to DAPL. Okay, the northern border of the 1851 took it up to the Heart River, which is a river that runs right through the southern part of the city of Mandan, which is right across from Bismarck.
Okay.
Okay, so that's where the 1851 put the northern border in. Okay, 1868, but the 1851 the Black Hills did not go to the Sioux. Okay, so
exactly.
All right, so now 1868, they did give the Black Hills to the Sioux at that time, and then but the border moved down to the North Dakota-South Dakota border. Okay.
Right.
So we're now the northern border of the Sioux tribal lands was the North Dakota-South Dakota border up to the Missouri. So this area, but south of me now. Okay, we're not to the Cannonball yet. So then I got to questioning, okay, at what point did the Standing Rock Indian Reservation end up at the Cannonball River as the northern border? I found it in an agreement that was made in 1877.
Exactly, which I have right
That
here.
is the one that set up the reservation.
Okay.
In that Article 1 of that agreement, the border became the Cannonball River.
I can actually read you exactly what it says.
Okay.
It says that the Indians do hereby relinquish and cede, C-E-D-E, to the United States all the territory lying outside the said reservation, as herein modified and described, including all privileges of hunting, and Article 16 of said treaty is hereby abrogated. So that supersedes any treaty that comes before
So
it.
when we hear anything about Fort Laramie Treaty, it's kind of like, that's not a viable argument. Is that what you're telling me? Is that what everybody's telling me here?
I would say
That's the way I would take it.
I would say that's the
Okay.
way I would think about that too. But there's a couple of other things that I want to talk to you about, Michael, too.
Okay.
Let's do some fact checking, okay? Fact check number 1. The pipeline encroaches on indigenous lands. We already confirmed and verified that that is not true. It does not. It's
Right.
not on tribal property. In fact, 99.98% is on private land.
Okay.
Okay. Claim number 2. The pipeline exposes the tribe's water supply to contamination. That's a fabrication, correct?
Correct.
Okay. In addition, the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe's water intake is scheduled to be moved by the end of the year. The Missouri River intake serving the tribe is being switched to Mobridge. So we just talked about that. 70 miles south of the planned Dakota Access River crossing. Okay.
Right.
Number 3, fact check. The tribal community was not part of the discussion. I cannot explain to you
Okay.
the almost 400 meetings that took place where they either didn't show up or they showed up and agreed. I think 12 times they actually showed up, had a conversation, agreed, because this is all in that 58-page decision by
Right.
Judge Mosberg.
Okay.
Boasberg, excuse me. And he states that in there, that they did show up when they wanted to. When they didn't show up, other tribes did show up and made a deal. They negotiated and said, okay, we're going to get this, and this. You're going to go here. Oh, well, it's over there. Okay, well, let's move this around. We'll curve it around and we'll change it and we'll move it. Okay? So do you agree with that as well, Michael?
Pretty much the things that were talked about were sacred sites, burial places, things like that. There were things that were found after the fact, that were started, after the pipeline was kind of started.
Right.
And DAPL was very courteous and went around them anyway.
140 times. 140 times, correct?
Well, Michael, go. Talk.
You were skipping. I could not hear what you were saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. 140 times they went around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So then we have fact check number 5, which is, hold on a second. The on-site protests have been peaceful. Go ahead.
What?
There have been some. I will admit that there have been some that have actually been peaceful. If they started that way, I would have probably, like I said, been on their side. The majority are from it.
Well, because it's based more on emotion, and Danny and
Right.
I were speaking about this before.
Right. My job in the world is to build information pathways for companies to brand their brand. So and I always said, if I were the one up there behind the curtain, my job would be to win the hearts and minds of Americans, because I know I couldn't win in the courts, and the only way I can do that is to get people to confront. And then I would take that confrontation and spin it in a way where it made it look like victims. And then I would have rock stars and Hollywood stars and everybody posting my videos, and I would win the hearts and
Danny,
minds.
now you're scaring me. You're beginning to sound like the man behind the curtain.
I know, that's what I told him. I told him the same thing.
That's
Yeah, but
what I'm
see,
saying.
I disagree.
am the man behind the curtain. 'Cause that's exactly the way I would be doing it.
That's how you would do it. I personally would not do it that way. I don't like the whole violent thing. I don't like the whole violence thing. I would have done it as an incredible marketing campaign, and I would have made sure I would have been more like Donald Trump than like Obama. I would have been more the deal maker and the negotiator, and saying that, because they were offered $8 million. And they said, no, we want $20 million.
Well, that's another question. If we would have reached a deal, Michael, saying like, okay, $12 million, would we even be on this show right now?
No,
I mean, it seems
probably
like, and it seems like, is the Standing Rock Sioux the only ones out there that are having? Everybody else kind of made a deal? Because to me, if I was an elder of that tribe, I'd think, wow, maybe this pipeline is a way that I can literally educate generations to come, so that we're basically have a society that's educated and moving forward, instead of, I don't know, sitting on this reservation. I'm sorry, I've been on a lot of Indian reservations, and they're not the mecca of commerce, I'm sorry to say. So unless they got a casino in the middle of them and they're in California, and I hate to say that, but I think we're true here. And so my question is, why are we not using this pipeline to enhance babies that are being born right now, that in 20 years they're going to college? What's the story? I don't know. Maybe there's an answer to that. I don't know.
Well, the thing is that, okay, they're not, it doesn't cross their land, so they're really not going to get that much benefit from that aspect. Now, as far as they could have gotten into the jobs where they were working on the pipeline and could have taken a big benefit from that.
Oh, I think so. I think they should have a setup where, hey, we're going to put this pipeline through, but guess what? The jobs in this area, we want to hire your people.
8 to 12,000 people are being put to work on this pipeline. This is what I said the very first time we came on the air. Here's another issue. People kept saying that they were not being paid. Let me tell you about petrochem and how much money is in oil. I was married to an engineer.
Okay.
For almost 14 years. He built refineries around the world, from Germany to East Bloc countries to Hawaii. He built these things. These people don't make minimum wage.
Yeah,
they make $65 an hour, or $100 sometimes, and up. Wow. So this is a lot of money, and they're putting this money back into the community. That's how I see it, Michael.
The question is, why isn't the elders of this particular tribe and the Bureau of Indian Affairs, where are they? I haven't seen them on anything. Where are they? I mean, it just seems, I don't know, it seems like there's, and that was the original question.
Because it's an emotional thing, not a factual thing.
It was the original question, Michael, a month ago. Is this for real? Because it seems like there's I understand marketing campaigns, and I understand building distribution networks to funnel information through. And I'm like, boy, it sure smells like we've got a campaign here of emotion to win the hearts and minds, but it's not really backed up on a evil oil company doing bad things.
Exactly.
So, and when you don't have that in your pocket, guess what you got to do? You got to spin things to convince, and the rhetoric has to convince.
Okay, so Michael, last words. We're coming up against this time. It's a true heartbreak.
True heartbreak.
So we're coming up against that. Last words, and where can people go and find all the information that you have? If not, they can also find it on my page. It's facebook.com, Jodie M. Rocco, which is my verified page.
Right.
And Michael, you're also on Facebook at, go ahead and tell people.
If you want.
If you want.
Yeah, but I'm mainly a guy that goes around on YouTube and comments on all these people. And I find my data just Googling. I use Yahoo, but it works out the same. It's a search engine, and I start searching out things, and I'm finding the stuff I'm finding just by doing that.
Exactly, and that's been my argument as well. It's not like I'm up there. Well, you're not here. Well, I don't have to be there. The world was made very small when the internet came into existence.
Right.
So, Michael, thank you so much.
Now, I will agree that you've got to kind of be up here to understand that this is all lying. A lot of people see the stuff. You can make video. I mean, that's how come Hollywood is so successful, is because they can make video say what they want it to say. You can make things more exciting or less exciting by the way you tilt the camera. That's the way humans are, and the way the movie thing goes. So just watching videos, you can make it sound like and look like anything you want. But that's not necessarily the truth. Well, because I live here, I recognize that some of this stuff was absolute lies. Like you living down in Vegas, you have no idea. If the only thing you saw was that this pipeline is going through tribal lands and they're getting screwed, what are you going to believe? You're going to believe
exactly
what they say, or you're going to look it up and find out for yourself whether it's true.
Well,
because I live here, I know it's not on tribal land, and so I recognize it as a lie immediately.
Okay, so Michael, December 5th, has an exodus already begun?
Well, this storm did a lot to slow any kind of movement around. We just finished that up here yesterday, the storm. So I haven't, I can't say that I've seen a big exodus. Matter of fact, I've been kind of stuck at home because of it too. Because I think I've said that I'm a school bus driver, so school hasn't been going, so I haven't been going out either. And so I can't answer that 100%, but I suspect that there's going to be, there's a lot of people down there. And there's going to be people in there that really are not all that interested in getting, into any kind of a serious confrontation with the police.
Okay.
I got a feeling by the time the 5th comes around, what's going to be left down in there is pretty much going to be die-hard, we're going to fight to the death sort of people.
Oh, good grief.
But it's not going to be
I'm
the
not
Indians
sure
from Standing
exactly
Rock.
more than
It's
that.
not going to be the Indians from Standing
Because
Rock,
they're just
though,
going to
right?
go home. They're going to cross the river and go home.
Well, for one thing, they're not the ones protesting.
Right. Okay, we got 20 seconds left. Michael, you are the man.
Yep.
Thank you very much. We'll certainly have these segments up for you to view and the world to view very soon. And we are going to we're going to hang up now, and we're going to have our break, and then we're going to talk to Pam
Hemphill.
Hemphill.
Yes. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks,
Take
Jodie.
care.